And just like that, we are back. Friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. Today is another Color Cube challenge. And we are rolling. I've lost the books, I don't know where they are. Today's Color Cube is Volume 1. Color Cube is by Sarah Renae Clark. You can visit her website to check that out. We're going to be working in Millie Marotta's Tropical Wonderland. No doubt you know the drill by now. If you don't, we pick a color palette card and it decides the colors and the page number. Let's pick a page, shall we? Now, I feel like I may be on the back foot a little bit because tropical book, not so tropical cards. Some may be, but not all. So I'm a little bit like, about it. Okay, let's pick. I just don't want anything brown. I got brown last time. If you were with me last time, I got these like browns and reds, and I just want something tropical. So I'm gonna go, of course, I've got to go with the first thing that comes out. So, okay, let's just pick. I keep trying to pick from different sides, just, I don't know, so I don't get the same card, but still, there's like 250 cards in here. So I can't see because this is high. This box is quite big. I'm just gonna try and actually grab. Oh my gosh, why are my thumbs not working today? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, tropical. Yeah, there's a brown in there though. You know, I just did. I literally just completed a page in Hannah Coleson's Midnight Masquerade. It was like so similar. The yellows were a bit more yellow. This is probably more chartreuse, hey. So dark browns, coppers, meadowlark, cornflower, and royal blue. All right. Well, at least I've got some blues and some yellows in there. I mean, I got brown, but anyway, I'll try and make something fancy pants out of it. Okay, so I know that there's definitely not 139 pages in that book, so I'm gonna dock the last number. So we're gonna go to page 13. Okay, so yeah, page 13. Okay, I'm just like, half the palette is good. The other half, I don't know. Okay, so 1, 2, 11, 12. Oh, close. 13. Oh, an owl. Right. Okay, well, this could work. The horned owl. Pretty easy for the background. And I mean, I could treat like all these little flowers and bibbidi-bobbities. Yellow and brown and then, yeah. Okay. Just trying to think. I think I'll definitely use pencil because of all this line work that I kind of want to leave there. I don't typically like to use water-based mediums in here. I think primarily because of the paper. I mean, this doesn't feel too bad, but yeah. I mean, I could always test it. I'm either going to go Distress Ink or PanPastel. I've just got to see what colors I actually have. And then we'll go browns and tans and coppers. What pencils could I use? But yeah, I definitely think I'm going to go pencil. I could go a little bit, maybe some of the outside feathers. I could go acrylic markers or something like that. I've got to decide, but I could always bring in some golds as well. I'm actually thinking Prismacolor because of the chartreuse colors that I have. And in these copper colors, I've actually got some green ochre and artichoke will kind of match these, and Prismacolor have a really good brown as well. So I think I'm going to go with that. It's like I'm stuck, but I'm not stuck. So this is my PanPastel bingo sheet that I've been working on. And this sheet also includes all the new releases as well. And I've just put like a fluoro green dot next to the new releases. So actually in the bright yellow green shade and the bright yellow green, it's almost an exact match. So see this here, that's almost an exact, and that's almost an exact as well. So I'm going to use those. Over on the blues, these are pretty good. So the phthalo blue shade, or phthalo, whatever you call it, and the ultramarine blue shade, and the phthalo blue tint, and also the turquoise shade is a maybe, probably not. It almost matches that, but it's more on the green side, more on the blue-green side. And I don't have any browns, but I could make one, but I don't think I'm going to use brown for the background. It's probably more going to be for the owl. It's going to be a very interesting looking page. All right. So I think what I want to do first is I'm going to do the background. And the reason why I've chosen PanPastel is because there's smaller areas. The page on the right would be cool for Distress Ink. Over here, it's just too much to mask up for me. I feel like I would just have a difficult time trying to not cover anything that didn't need to be covered or that I don't want covered. So in this way, using pastel, I can just quickly do it and then I can erase the areas that I don't want blue on with an eraser, and I have my Derwent mechanical eraser, which will be good for that. And I've also got a kneadable eraser if I need to as well. So pastel is the go. I might have to play around on some bits of paper and see what actually happens. All right, let's have a bit of a science experiment. I've just got these. These are like the soft tool little applicator things. Loosely testing it. There's nothing fancy going on here. So that's those three colours. I really like the look of how vibrant those two are looking. That one just looks a bit bleh. All right, so again, loose. And you just keep blending that until you got what you wanted. Now, they look quite similar to my eye, but I'm just looking at the monitor, they look like quite different. See how close they are? Like, if I can make that work, I want to, because it's so close and it would look cool. I do have a white that I could blend those in with, but I just want to see for blendy's sake what that actually looks like. Okay, so it's not as ill as I thought. It is a slight green, but it's not totally green. And I do have a white here as well, and this is a pearl white fine in the white. And you almost create this cool third color. Fun fact, blue and yellow are like my least favorite combinations when put together. I'm like, ugh. So that's loosely, and again, it's probably fairly saturated because I am using these, but with this type of paper, I kind of have to. So I reckon on the Millie paper, I could use these or the makeup pads. I'm gonna have to consult the Pinterest to see different ways that I can actually disperse these colors on the page, because I would like to use them together if I can. I just, in my mind's eye, was trying to think of how that could actually look cool, and I don't know. So I'm gonna consult the internet. All right, so I have added in a violet as well. So I think I had a quick look. A lot of the stuff that I liked the most was going from the blue and a bit of a white lighter cloud in the middle, and then the yellow from the other side. So I think I'm gonna do that. And I'm actually gonna use these soft tool applicators, and I'm gonna work light to dark just so I can really try and control the layering, because I'm not working with a huge amount of space. I feel like if I use these ones, that I'm just gonna have a hard time trying to actually get everything to not just blend into one color. So just bearing in mind too that I'm still fairly new to PanPastel as well, so I'm pretty much just having a play. Because I'm self-taught, this is the way that I learn, so there's really no other way for me to do this than to learn by the doing. So hopefully we can get something that looks semi-okay. Alrighty, so there is our background complete, our pastel background complete. I will list all the colors in the description below. I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out. So these are the pencils that I've chosen to use, and funnily enough, I was just trying to arrange them in some loose order and just so happened to pretty much do it in the exact order of the card. I didn't mean to, it just turned out that way. I was like, oh, there you go. So that's that. And then I've also selected some Toolie Art paint pens and things as well to work with. So I'm hoping that I've given myself a fair amount of colors to play with. I feel like I have. It could have all gone a little bit heavy. And so I wanted to make sure that I included a lighter blue. I've got a putty beige up here, and I will include a white as well. Worth noting that this gold is actually quite similar to the copper color here. In terms of our color combinations today, I've just done a few loose ideas. I just want to experiment and see how we go. All right, so going back to our little birdie num num, there is a lot of line art. So let's have a go. Let's have a go at this. I will jump in intervals and let you know how I'm going. So usually when I complete pages that have a mix of gel pens, acrylic markers, and pencil, I will usually go in and do the pencil work first, do all of it, and then do all of the embellishment work. However, on this occasion, I found that I just wanted to do it all together and just work my way down. And mainly because I think there's going to be probably a little bit more acrylic marker and gel pen than I originally thought, because I'm really liking the look of it. And sometimes I've found of late that when I go to complete all the gel pen work, because I'm at the end of the page, I find myself rushing through the process sometimes. And I just wanted to avoid that today so that I could really just focus on being in that meditative state. And I am so happy that I did that, because I'm able just to build on it as I go. And I've loved just layering the gel pens over, and the acrylic markers as well. So you can see I've got some over on the little, what they would call the horns, but they're just the sticky outy feather bits. And on the eyes too. And this black here is the black Tooly Art paint pen, and then I've gone over with an Ohuhu glitter marker over the top, and I'm just really layering everything just so I can bring all of those colors in. So I've added in this Ohuhu glitter marker, and this is like a blue metallic. So this is from their 24 set. I do prefer the 12 set actually, but I really like the tone of this particular marker that it gives. So I'm using that, and that is around these areas here. I'm going to continue my way down, and then once I've done this section, then I'm probably going to go over with these little round bits with some gel pen as well. I'm thinking maybe gold. And I am still trying to stick to the card here. I feel like on the top of his head, it's probably on the lighter side of this copper. However, the darker tones really still fit. So at this stage still, I don't think I'll be putting much of the chartreuse in on the owl. I think that'll more be for the other elements. But I'm really enjoying the different style of drawings that Millie does. I'm really enjoying all the pattern work. I can really just go into a autopilot state and really just make something of it and build it as I go. And when I applied the black around the eyes, it was really funny because it actually came up so much thicker than I thought, because the black marker is really juicy at the moment. And so I have to kind of fix that. I've gone around it with a gold, which hopefully you can, yeah, so I've gone around it with a gold to try and fix it. It's not the neatest, but it's fine. I'm not perfect, so it is what it is. It's what we're getting. So I'm gonna keep going. So I'm almost done with the owl body, and at this point I'm really happy with how all the colors are coming out. Excellent plumage, one might say. So I'm focusing on just having an even amount of brown and not having too many colors concentrated into one area. So I'm really trying to spread it out. So yes, focusing on the brown with a bit more blue and just a smattering of gold and just bringing in the black here. This black is so juicy and just covers so well. Very bold line. The browns, not so much. Like I've had to go over a couple of times just to get a bit of a decent coverage. So I'm going to focus on more brown tones down here, and I think at the very end, the tail, because it's the same kind of feathers as the top of the head, I think I'm going to, so these ones up here, I think I'm going to just do that combination. So as we know, the paper quality and the paper type does vary in Millie's books, and I have found that sometimes that if I lay down my pencils too heavy, say if I do my usual blend and burnish technique where I'm just doing one layer every color, some of the browns are really waxy and really chalky, and it kind of amplifies that on this paper. So I'm finding that a workaround is to still blend and burnish, but just do, rather than do, for example, on this one here, like rather than go like, you know, just once with a shade of black and press really hard and then taper off, actually just do more layers, do about 3 layers of that to get that same depth, and then add the next pencil in and do the same thing. So I don't know, you may have noticed, so just holding my pencil further back, pressing medium to light pressure and just layering it to get that burnish effect opposed to going in heavier. So up here on the neck is where I've gone a lot heavier with my pencil pressure, and it is just feeling a little bit waxy clumpy for me. So down further, especially in that blue row above the gold ones, is where I've just lightened off the pressure, and even on the side leaves here, I've just lightened off and I've done more layering than a straight blend and burnishing, which is my go-to method anyway. I find blending and burnishing works really well for my coloring style. However, I am just adapting myself with the paper and I'm getting a good result. So I think that is a tip with Millie's books as well, or any book really, where you've got paper that you're not used to, is just adjust your style a little bit, adjust the pressure, adjust your hand position on the pencil. So you might be someone that colors with your hand very close to the tip. You could just pull it back a little bit and it literally stops you from pressing hard. And you could even go further back if you wanted to as well. Depends on what you like. And if there are any areas that just have a little bit of pastel residue left on them, I'm simply just covering over those areas in a darker color and you don't even notice it. So I'm really not worried about that at all. So I've got a little bit of pastel residue down the bottom here. I could go through and erase more of it, but I'm just going to use darker, bold colors. And just like that, the owl is complete. Not the whole picture, obviously, but just the owl. I did have a thought while I was doing this. So for example, if you're completing this page and if the line work just looks way too much and you want to do something a little bit more simple, why not go to the right of the page? It's a much more simpler design. It's the exact same in terms of the owl. We just don't have any of the floral bits at the back. But as you can see, this is pretty much just how I've approached this owl anyway. See how I've colored it mostly just ignoring all the individual lines, and I've pretty much just used it focusing on the big shapes which are represented over here. So it is another thought and another quick little tip that I had with Millie's page is that if they do intimidate you, try and find an image with less line work, and you might find that you can just get your head around it just that little bit easier. Okay, going back to the challenge. So now for the rest of the challenge where I'm bringing in the remainder of the colors. So just going back to our coloring sheet here, and there was one that I did bring in. I combined these two combinations. So because this is darker, I'll put this at the top, so that the whole combination started at espresso and ended in yellow ochre or jasmine. It's actually on this section down here. So that's what it looks like at the darker end. And then at the lighter end, it looks like that. And so I've just actually combined the two to make a whole new one, which results in using less pencils, but it looks completely different. And it looks very harmonious with the others. So yeah, for the leaves, I'm gonna try and focus on these chartreuse colors and the cornflower blue combination as well. For me, the challenge is just because the background is very heavy in these colors already, the challenge for me is to actually apply them in a way that makes them stand out and makes them pop. So I'm fairly confident with these kind of feathery looking leaves, how they're like big and dopey and floppy and droopy. About these ones, I'm just not quite sure how to do the shading yet. I mean, I know the different possible ways. I just don't know what is gonna look best. Gonna keep going. Yeah. Oh, and I just as well, you have noticed this piece of paper here. Even though I have applied fixative and I've done a couple of light coats, which just fuses the PanPastel to the page, it's workable fixative. I just put a piece of paper there anyway, because I do find that the heat of my hand will pick up extra pastel, just like a few little bits left over, whereas the paper just protects it. So yeah, let's keep going. So one little tip that I have implemented, because I have a similar element and background color over in the top right hand corner here, is I've outlined the element with a gold gel pen, and I've also added some yellow pollen. This just adds a bit more color to the element and separates it from the background. If I didn't have the gel pen there, the colors between the background and the element, because they're so similar, they would probably just fade into one another a little bit. And so I found just by adding a few little bits and pieces of a different color, just gives it a bit of separation and it stands out from the background, which is what we want. So in the end, I decided to actually expand some of the gold and the black colors outwards, and the brown. I was a little bit too concerned that the background might just look too yellow and blue. And so I felt by adding a little bit down here and then a little bit kind of up there, up on an angle, so to speak, of those colors really helped enhance the color balance of the page. Not that I get that perfect every time, but because I am using such a limited color palette, I did want to try and have an even dispersion of these colors as well. And I have just added a little bit of blue dottage, if you will, down here, just to kind of mimic, I suppose, the pollen that's going on. I think in terms of the bokeh effect, this is definitely just a very basic way. So I've just done some little circles. There is a lot more enhanced and detailed techniques on offer on YouTube. I do plan on checking some of those out, but overall I'm really happy with the page. I'm really happy with how it's come out. This has got to be one of my better Millie Marotta pages, I would say, for me and my school level. I really enjoyed this time doing a full page. I think some of the pages that I've done of Millie's just have an object in the center and no background elements to play with. So I'm really happy with how it came out. I was very hesitant with the color palette card because, again, it's just got colors that I don't regularly gravitate to. So thank you so much for joining me for today's challenge, mainly just for the entertainment, and we're here to have fun and hang out. And I don't know, maybe you've learned something. I've learned something. I always learn something with every coloring page that I do. Every coloring page just helps me just to, I don't know, just get to know my style, get to know myself and what I would do next time, what I wouldn't do next time, all of that. So guys, with all that being said, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.